Okay. So between streams, I decided to just go ahead and get the plow and get it to plus 14 since I already had everything I needed to do that anyway. Hello Deuterium, hello Krista, welcome. I figured I would fight the stray demon on stream at least. So I can get this to plus 15 and then, I don't know, I guess we can go fight Sif or something. I didn't do anything else in the DLC. I literally just I stayed in the same spot and killed a bunch of the gardener guys till I got the plow and upgraded it and everything. Hello, Nikki. How's everyone's day been? I decided to start writing a script before stream because the video I was working on wasn't feeling great. And I really enjoyed writing that script. So hopefully, I'm only about halfway through, but hopefully I'll be able to finish that run and then finish scripting it today or tomorrow. It shouldn't be too difficult. I wrote half the script in, a couple hours. And then the run itself was only an hour and a half so far. Just beat Insmo, so it shouldn't be too bad. But obviously, if I told you what it was, that would be spoilers, so... Oops. Please don't. Okay. Oh no, why does it have to be sarcastic? I love it when the little guys get obliterated by the big guy. I wonder how many bosses are actually, like, able to damage normal enemies. Because I wonder if the Stray Demon is, like, a special case where... Oh yeah, obviously, enemies will be able to make it into the arena, so... we need to make it possible to... hurt enemies like that. Me too. I think we all wish that. But I wonder if you got a hollow into the Gargoyles arena somehow, if they'd be able to damage it, right? Like, if that's just how the team thing is set up in the background. I should heal. Don't be greedy. Oh, I could have gotten the Leo ring. This does piercing damage. I didn't even think about that. Oh well. Welcome. The stream won't be as long. I don't know how almost asleep you are, but I don't know. This should be like maybe 2 hours at most. I might fight Calamite actually, just because of the special circumstances. Assuming my internet is up to it at least. The weird gag of today. You mean like Milk was? Or are you alluding to the fact that it will probably be plowing? Hello, not I. Welcome to the stream. I'm not gonna worry about grabbing the doll or whatever. No reason to. I don't have any bones. Oh, there we go. Forgot he dropped a bone. Milk the sequel. I mean, that's what companies do, right? Um, Stiff first. As in your eyes keep closing, maybe you should just succumb to the sleep. Get some rest. Might be good for you. I don't know. Might be trying to stay up or something though. Guess it kind of depends. Yeah, I'm streaming again because yesterday's stream ended prematurely. I don't remember if you were there for that, but it was unfortunate. Yeah, the lemonade? Or is that a specific different one? I know the lemonade is really, really good. Lemon lime is also really good. That one's my favorite. But the lemonade is a very close second. The orange mango is really good. The blackberry is really good. Ice is just a really good drink. The Cool Souls Girl. I mean, you can always just watch the VOD. Yeah, you were there? Okay. I figured I recognized your name. I could have just bought the seal. Nah, this is cooler. Yeah. Luckily, I don't struggle with that. Not most of the time, anyway. I guess that's not true of yesterday. The one-pronged plow. The four-pronged plow finished early. Oh my god. Um, speaking of innuendos, the run that I am scripting, or that I started scripting this morning before I started streaming, it is rife with innuendo opportunities, and I am fighting for my life to not put every single one in, because I want the bit to be that there are a bunch of opportunities for innuendos, but I'm not capitalizing on them. But I don't know if I'm strong enough. I'll definitely have to put in a couple, but I mean, my Discord, uh, there is variety on my Discord server. Um, so, mm, most of the like channels and stuff are for discussions about video games, art. You can share art on there. There's a lot of people who make art share art there, which is really nice. There's an entire channel dedicated to the Souls games, though admittedly, the general chat is also affected by games and Souls games pretty frequently. But the majority of people who are active are usually active in channels that require an 18 plus role. So do with that what you will. I feel like that shouldn't be super surprising coming from my streams, though. I don't know how many you've seen, but yeah, there's a lot on there. It's not just like stuff like that. It's a lot of just chatting and talking about interests and stuff too. Like yesterday we were talking about ice, the drink, in the NSFW chat because we were talking about like hydration and nutrition and artificially sweetened beverages and stuff, like in the 18 plus chat. So it's not all 18 plus topics, but you know. um I mean, it can be used like Skype but modern. But most people use that more as like a specific forum kind of thing. It's a lot more similar to forums, I guess, than Skype, with some added functionality. Yeah, accounting is pretty active too. What are we at now? Like 8,700 something? I don't remember what the counting channel is up to now. I was kind of hoping that the counting channel and my subscriber count would go hand in hand, but unfortunately that doesn't seem to be the case. Counting is very much pulling ahead. Because for a while, like before I started doing Soul streams, I got to like 3,000, 3,000. And obviously my subscriber count was way, way behind. Owie. And then obviously after doing Soul stuff, my subscriber count went way up. There are 300 people, just over 300 people in the server. You're allowed to count as many times as you want. You just have to wait for somebody else to do a number in between yours. So like if you did 8,725, you'd have to wait for someone else to do 8,726, and then you could do 8,727. So it's not like each person does one number or anything. Otherwise, we would not even be in quadruple digits. I don't know how people are counting. Skype is just like an internet calling app, basically. It's a direct messenger. Okay, so full disclosure. I just realized that... Did I get the very large jumper on stream yesterday? Between streams, I did kill a bunch of the gardeners, but I didn't get the drop. So I just used DSR gadget, because at that point I had killed like probably like 50 gardeners. It was a lot, and I just did not get the drop for whatever reason. I was extremely unlucky. I don't know what the drop chance is. I think it's pretty low, but I just was not getting it. So I used DSR gadget to get to plus 14, but did I even get the very large ember yesterday? I don't think I did. Oops. I accidentally cheated, but it's fine. Counting is fun. Yeah, I did not get the very large ember yesterday. Oopsie. It's fine. My controller disconnected. I hate it when it does that. I need to get... I don't think it's the cable at this point. I think it's like the port on my controller. And I would just be using Bluetooth. But my computer's Bluetooth, it's like motherboard Bluetooth, and it's really, really bad. So I need to get like a Bluetooth card or whatever. And I just haven't done that yet. So I'm just using the terrible cable connection. At this point, I've gotten the very large ember so many times that I just know where it's at by rote. Excuse me, can you let me through, please? Please? Thank you. I didn't start with a custom weapon. I ran all the way to the DLC as quick as possible. However, once I got into the DLC, I was getting extremely unlucky and didn't get the drop. So I just used DSR gadget to get the weapon. But yeah, usually, or during all of my streams, barring like specific cases, for instance, like for, what was it, the Great Lord, rather, I used DSR gadget to get that immediately, and then set my new game to New Game Plus. But otherwise, you know. And it's glory days? You mean like going back in time and seeing the world as it was during the true Age of Fire? I don't know. I think that would be... I think if that were to happen, I don't think it will, obviously, but if that were to happen officially, it would probably be either like beautiful Elden Ring fighting gods kind of thing, or it would be, wow, this is extremely underwhelming and depressing, which I think Dark Souls would be better if it went for it, if they did that kind of thing, you know? The dingle one. Krista, I thank you for misspelling dongle as dingle. I don't know if that was on purpose. I don't think it was, but it's still very funny. Yeah, DSR gadget is extremely useful, especially when I'm like recording stuff. Like if I need to get a run out soon, I'll use speed hacks to just get to bosses faster to retry them, so I don't have to... You can also like store your position. So if I like get outside of a boss fog without, and don't want to like go in and back up my save and everything, you can just store it in DSR gadget and everything. It's extremely useful. Honestly, I wouldn't even consider Dark Souls as having a depressing vibe. I don't know, like, from an outsider's perspective, I think it does. Or back when, you know, I hadn't played Dark Souls a bunch. From an outsider's perspective, I thought it did. But then once I started playing it, it was like, oh, this is just like fantasy but with zombies. um, I don't know. I wouldn't describe Dark Souls vibe as you're playing it as being depressing. The lore is absolutely, but I don't know. And that's just me, obviously. I'm not saying that that's what you should get out of it. It's just what I get out of it personally. No, you can do the tripping running attack, but you only trip if you don't hit something. It's like the stumble weapons, like great hammers and halberds and stuff. Okay, there are exceptions, but like even the catacombs, you know, it's full of bones and stuff, but it's also like, I mean, people die. It happens. In this instance, it's more like people were murdered, which is less cool. Oh my god. The Dark Wraith was coming for vengeance. I couldn't even see him because he was completely dark. I don't know, but I also just like don't think of that lore as I'm playing through the game. I still don't have a bone. I forgot to pick up bones. Ugh. Gotta go back and get more bones. I at least want to rest before fighting the Four Kings. I went the wrong way. Ah, excuse me. I'm actually going to rest over this way because I think this run back is faster, according to Domo. I don't remember the number after his name, or after their name, I guess. I don't know their pronouns, but they do Dark Souls 2 content and talk about how Dark Souls 2 is actually really good. And all the unfair criticisms people say on it. But they also, they did a video comparing like boss run back times in Dark Souls 2 to boss run back times in the other games, or specifically Dark Souls 1, and how the Dark Souls 1 run backs are pretty long, and how this way is actually shorter than the way from Firelink. One prong for each king. There's so much innuendo potential here. I mean, I assumed that they were well preserved because they were underwater in like a very biologically inactive area, you know? I should actually level up. Also, the strength was 15, not 12. I don't know why I thought it was 12. Anyway, also the fact that there's like the curse and everything, so I assume bodies don't rot quite as quickly with the curse. Because that's why they were drowned, right? Because they had the curse? I don't remember. I don't think water, especially biologically inactive water, can pickle you. Unless it was salt water, I guess. But even then. Everything is an innuendo. If you try hard enough, that's true. Well, yeah, the drop shortcut is... That's what I mean. This way is faster to get back to than the drop shortcut. Because the elevator from Firelink takes a super long time to get back from. But when you go this way, you have one elevator, and then it's just a short run. It's not that much quicker, but it is definitely quicker. Oh, yeah, the Master Soul's position doesn't get reset. I kind of forgot about that. Yummy pickled human. Is pickled meat a thing? I don't know. Like, do they preserve meat via pickling? As someone who doesn't pickle things, I'm not sure if that's even a thing. Should probably... I don't have any rings on. That's uncommon. Also, I just turned in midair. I have no idea how I did that. I didn't know that was possible. Yeah, I could have gotten the bones, but that's a lot of effort. They do pickle meat? Cool. I should have grabbed our TSR. That's fine. Oy. Edgy. Damage isn't amazing. If I die, I can grab RTSR on the way back, actually. I don't expect to die on the Four Kings, but if... Okay. Yeah, I forgot to kill Lotric. Or I don't remember if I forgot to kill him, but I didn't kill Lotric. Favorite boss in the trilogy is the Sanctuary Guardian by far. The Sanctuary Guardian is my favorite video game boss, full stop. I love the Sanctuary Guardian, it's so much fun. It's just like everything I love about Dark Souls 1 bosses. Can you stop, please? This is really annoying. It's like, I don't know, it's it's a quick boss that has varying ways to avoid all of its attacks, as well as opportunities if you to attack that you wouldn't have rather if you didn't know the boss's attacks. On top of having switch ups with the lightning attacks, so it isn't rote like Artorias is. Like I find fighting Artorias kind of boring, and it's really fun to learn on like, you know, Manus or whatever. So I just really like the Sanctuary Guardian. But like Ruin Sentinels, Dancer, Twin Princes, you know, they're all up there as well. Oh yeah, I forgot I did Quelaag after Ornstein and Smo. Theoretically, there are humans that haven't died, like the whole Way of White thing going on, because like, Petrus and his gang are here. Actually, Zigmeyer isn't dead, right? Pretty sure Zigmeyer isn't even undead. Siegmeyer's daughter, yeah. Sieglinde. Or is it only Sieglinde who's not? I'm pretty sure Siegmeyer isn't as well, but I don't know. That much more vitality isn't super useful. Bit of chaos. I don't know. I pay attention to lore sometimes. Maybe I should just grab RTSR for fun. Like Oscar to Lautrec. Well, considering Lautrec gets out on his own, no matter what, I don't think that's an entirely accurate comparison, but... I thought Siegmeyer just dies at the end of his quest. Yeah, because Sieglinde is like mourning over his corpse. In Ash Lake. I'm gonna do that just in case. I could have just... This is why I should be grabbing bones. I could just warp down to the Daughter of Chaos. I forgot that I went down there and warped out. I know what I'm doing. Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, I haven't actually done that quest. That's one of the few quests that I haven't seen to the very end. Just because I don't like dealing with the Chaos Eaters. I already have all the achievements in Dark Souls 1, though I haven't experienced that in any of my playthroughs for Dark Souls 1, 2, or 3. There were times where like I thought I should get an achievement, but I was actually missing like one random sorcery or whatever. So yeah, you need as long as the Four Kings are alive, you need the ring to survive in the Abyss. If you take the ring off during the fight, you'll immediately die in the Abyss as well. But as long as the Four Kings are dead, you don't need the ring in the Abyss. Yeah, that makes sense then. It wouldn't surprise me if Siegmeyer hollowed. Oh, I should have used the slab. I mean, it's not a big deal. I'm fighting 3 easy bosses in a row. So, whatever. Your bling. I think the 2 best looking rings in Dark Souls, like if you really want to, show off your bling, it would be, in my opinion, the Ring of Favor and Protection and the Silver Serpent Ring. The Gold Serpent Ring is gold, obviously, but I think the Silver Serpent Ring just looks better, personally. Was that counter damage? Interesting. I really want to get, like, for the longest time, I mean, I still have my Ring of Favor and Protection, like I have a real life replica one. And I had a Fire Clutch Ring, which I think looks super awesome. I love the look of the Fire Clutch Ring. But I think my favorite, or I want to get a bunch of my favorite, like, rings from Dark Souls. But every time I look up stuff for the Silver Serpent Ring, it's always way more expensive than, like, cheap replicas of the other ones. Which is like, whatever. I don't wear rings that often anyway. I just think it's cool to have them. I don't like the look of the Tear Stone rings, actually. I don't know. They just look kind of clunky. Same with Havel's ring. That said, I think Havel's ring is just like rocks, so. In real life, I think gold goes with my skin tone better than silver. But overall, I think silver jewelry looks better. So, like, on me, gold looks better. But generally, I think silver looks better. Well, yeah, you only have 2 ring fingers, obviously. Oh my god. Oh my god. Stop it. Oh my god. Homeward Bound. I sang that in middle school and high school choir. Meanwhile, I haven't sang in, oh my god, years. Otherwise, I would try to replicate what I learned. And I also sang bass, which I don't know if I can do anymore. Oh, the Chloranthy ring? I didn't even think about that one. I mean, you can resize a ring. If you resize a ring, does it lose its magical properties? Is that why the Ring of Favor and Protection breaks when you take it off? It's just a little bit too small. All right. Where are you going? What are you doing? Jesus. Darn. Couldn't even cut off the arm with one hit. Oh. Greed. Owie. Are you serious? I've never seen this guy attack so often. I should heal, actually. Okay. Never mind. Your childhood dog? In what way? Did you just have a mini centipede demon? Or did your dog act similar to the demon? Or both? Both is also an option, I suppose. I suppose if you had a mini centipede demon, then it would act like the centipede demon. I've never understood why people recommend getting the ring and running over to the bigger platform, because I really don't think it helps that much. And especially if you have the ring on already, you're not losing that much health to the lava. So I've never understood the rationale behind recommending that people go all the way to the platform over there during this fight. I've never found that as very useful. Skill issue. Come on, really? I don't know why I'm being bad at the centipede demon fight of all things. The best hitbox move in the entire game. Wow, he's just really going at it right now. I'm throwing a tantrum. Oh my god. They're both cuties. Would you stop it? Jesus Christ, dude. I've never seen him this aggressive. What is happening? Did he just use the first phase jump attack in the second phase? I've never seen that. I mean, he's not usually annoying at all. Usually just like kind of stands there and attacks every so often. um, I don't know. Most of the time, that fight goes, you stand in the corner, he walks towards you slowly, does one attack, and then you walk towards him, and then does two more attacks through the course of the entire fight. I've never seen him that aggressive. Very strange. I usually go this way just because the run back to the bed of chaos is way shorter this way, obviously. Um, and doing that entire run is just, ugh. If you happen to die, if you happen to skill issue against the bed of chaos, you know. Okay. I'm very glad that I eventually figured out that you could just go straight through the lava instead of going all the way around, because that's so much shorter. I don't know. I feel like generally Lost Islith is pretty hated because it's just kind of long and boring. But I don't know. It's only like that if you do the most boring possible path. I found this bonfire in my first playthrough, and I don't remember if it's because I had like watched videos about it or if I just found it on accident or whatever. I'm pretty sure I saw videos about it though. Quest 64 is great. I recorded a video of it that I want to post on my second channel. I don't know when I'll do that, to be honest. I want to, or I'm still like working on a bunch of random Sonic videos that I just always wanted to do and never have for whatever reason. But I'll probably upload that soon. I have it recorded. I just need to edit it down. But Quest is really, really good. A gigantic lord vessel? I mean, it's an approximation of one, right? Because they were trying to recreate the flame. Yeah. The biggest problem I think with Carrot Quest 64 is the fact that it seems like there are so many secrets, but there are just none. um, like there's the question mark collectibles, um, which are like why would there be a question mark shaped collectible in a demo? You're gonna tell me that's not gonna lead to a secret? And there's one in every area, and I collected them all, and just nothing happened. Um, and then there are 19 of the main collectible, not 20. What? um, so I installed Unity Explorer and like went into the data of the game, and the question mark collectibles are just like collectibles that aren't used in the demo. They're called costume coins. Um, and there are secrets. Like randomly, certain enemies will turn gold, and if you kill them, you turn gold. But I don't think that does anything. So it's just like weirdly disappointing. I don't know. It's still really fun, but yeah, there's that one NPC behind the loading zone that has like an I am error reference. If you are into platformers, especially retro style platformers, you should definitely check out Carrot Quest 64. It's really fun. Have a good night. Thank you for joining while you could. Hope you sleep well. Yeah, I don't know. I've recorded a few videos for my second channel. I've done Spyro 2. I recorded a playthrough of that. I recorded a playthrough of, what was the other one? Of Core 64. Core 64 is another really good 3D platformer. That one's first person, but it controls like if, well, okay, someone described it as like Titanfall if it was retro, which is honestly pretty accurate. Oh god. Okay. I was worried I mistimed that. And then I described it as what Corn Kids 64 wanted to be. So lots of really good like random platformers on Steam that you can find. And Core 64 is like $4. Totally worth it. And then I have like 30 hours in it because I speedran it for a while. I still want to. But it's really hard to get back into after not running it for like 3 weeks. Hard Quest is a great random platformer you can find on Steam. I love Hard Quest for so many reasons. Oh god. Everything's fine? Wait, if you slide down fast enough, that turns into an actual... Really? An actual attack? I had no idea. Or like, why did that... That's so weird. I've never seen that happen. What an odd smattering of occurrences this stream. Smattering is a good word. I think we should use it more often. Just generally. Firestorm is usually pretty easy to dodge as long as you're standing behind one of the trees. I don't know. The only time it's annoying, in my opinion, is when you're going through the tunnel and have to, like, break through the branches. Am I excited for Night Rain? Not really, if I'm being honest. I signed up for the network test. I don't know if there'll be, like, a NDA thing where I'm not allowed to make videos about it, but I'll probably talk about it at least. But yeah, I did sign up for the network test, and I'm planning on playing it with Aurora. I don't know if she's going to want to record or anything, but either way, again, we'll definitely be talking about it at least. And then Spelunker and I wanted to do our like first impressions once the game comes out. So you'll see content about it from me, but whether or not I'm excited about it is a very different story. Yeah, I actually really love Bed of Chaos. It's a really fun fight. A lot of people don't like because skill issues. I'm not saying that that's you, Max. Generally, or genuinely, it's just like a lot of people don't understand how the boss works, so they don't like it. Like, I understand disliking it because it doesn't fit the kind of gameplay style that you want out of a Dark Souls boss, but I just think it's a fun fight that sticks to the ideals of Dark Souls really well. Yeah, I don't know. And its uniqueness makes it fun. I prefer fighting Bed of Chaos to most other lords, if I'm being honest. Yeah, hopefully I end up getting into the network test because I do, like, I don't know. I'm excited to talk about it more than I am excited for the game itself, if that makes sense. I think it'll be really fun to make content about, and that's my extent of my excitement for the game. Oy, owie. Oh my god. What do you mean those janky bosses? Um, like, I don't know. Dark Souls 1 has some. I wouldn't call it jank. um, I don't know. Centipede Demon has some funky hitboxes. Um, Ceaseless also has some funky hitboxes, but that's kind of it. Like, they're gimmicky, but janky is not the word I would use by any means. Dragon God? So yeah, you mean like gimmicky bosses specifically? Because like I would describe Osiris as properly janky, because there's a move that just nullifies the playstyle of trying to react to everything, which is how Dark Souls 3 largely expects you to play. Dark Souls 3 also has like Wolnir, which is gimmicky, but I wouldn't call it janky. That's not the term I would use. I don't know. I'm under some definitions, I guess I'm kind of excited for Night Rain, because it's like the things that I didn't like about Elden Ring were either because it strayed too far from what Dark Souls did, or it didn't go far enough away from what Dark Souls did. So like the combat is very much trying to emulate Dark Souls, right? In that it's a Souls-like, you have stamina management. I say loosely because stamina management doesn't actually matter in Elden Ring. You have to roll through attacks and everything. Like it's a Souls-like, it's a Dark Souls-esque game, but also the bosses don't work for that. So you just end up having to play it differently than you would other Souls games, unless you want to put an absurd amount of time into learning the bosses down to a T, which I just didn't enjoy in Elden Ring specifically. Because again, it was so close to Dark Souls, but it didn't go far away enough for it to feel like its own thing. And Night Rain just seems so dramatically different from what Elden Ring did. And that gives me hope that it can be a good game outside of the legacy of Dark Souls. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. I think I am excited to see what Night Rain is and what it will become. Sorry. But I'm not necessarily excited to play it. I despise the Elden Ring combat because bosses are just too fast. They have too many combos. They can switch combos randomly. I mean, it's not literally random, but from the player's perspective, a lot of the time, unless, again, you know the mechanics of the boss down to a T, it might as well be random. You have attacks like the spin that Margit has. It's just, and Morgot, it's like, how do you even go about learning to avoid that? Obviously, there are moves like Waterfowl. The Fire Giant is just frustrating. The plowing is going pretty good, I think. I mean, we've gotten down 3 of the 4 lords. So, Pinwheel dying fast is the best part. But Pinwheel's fun. Pinwheel's a cool boss. Pinwheel on Soul Level 1 was actually one of my favorite Soul Level 1 fights. Krista, are you saying that I have a skill issue for not liking Elden Ring? It's not the fact that I don't know the bosses. I can hit list a lot of the bosses in Elden Ring. I've hit list like every main boss up to Beast Clergyman. So it's not like I'm bad at the game. It's just not fun to learn them in the same way that Dark Souls bosses are fun to learn. I have 400 hours in the game. It's not like I don't like it. It's just compared to Dark Souls, I hate it, I guess is a better way to say what I said. Quality of life changes. How so? Statues of Marika. Okay. What was I gonna put on? I don't know why I went to put on a ring. Um, the Statues of Marika. Oh wait, no, I was gonna. The Statues of Marika, I think, communicate a big part of what I don't like about Elden Ring, in that it specifically focuses exclusively on difficulty, and to counteract that, it removes like everything else. So Dark Souls isn't hard as such. It's not a difficult game in that it's just trying to be difficult for difficulty's sake, a la, Elden Ring. It's difficult because you have to string a lot of things together. You need to learn, you need to understand what the game is trying to make you do, and that you need to get through levels, and learn them and understand them to be able to have a good shot at bosses. While in Elden Ring, it's like, okay, boss is hard, so let's not make the player learn the level, and so we can make the boss harder, and I don't think that's very fun. And the Stakes of Marika are more a symptom of that rather than a innovation, as I would call it, I guess. And when it comes to something like Sekiro, right, I think Sekiro did that really well because it's just a completely different format where the bosses are the point, and the areas are more like, get through this and you can play a cool boss, right? As opposed to Elden Ring, where it's like, it feels like it's supposed to be like Dark Souls, where the area is part of what the boss is, and like Demon Souls represents that, I think, the purest way. But Dark Souls and Dark Souls 2 do the same thing. Dark Souls 3 as well, to, I would argue, a lesser degree, just because it's so much easier to run past enemies in Dark Souls 3, and that feels intentional. I don't know. Well, that's another problem with Elden Ring. It's easy if you build correctly. That killed me. If the skeletons hadn't been there, I wouldn't have died. Skill issue on my part. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, with Elden Ring, it's just like the bosses and the levels are completely separate things, which I don't think is very fun. Also, anyway, Elden Ring being easy is bad because the easiness comes from certain weapons just being vastly overpowered. So like, you go through the game using nothing but a claymore, it's gonna be so much harder than if you use like the Wing of Estelle, right? Because the Wing of Estelle is just vastly stronger. And like, even ignoring stuff like summons and multiplayer and like, everything that the game has to explicitly make it easier, just using certain weapons is stronger. And in that way, I think the game's build variety suffers immensely, as opposed to Dark Souls 2, where you can make anything viable to the same degree. Like, you can make bosses die in a few hits to the spoon, the joke weapon, right? As opposed to Elden Ring, where you will just kill things faster if you use a certain weapon. And I think that's a very boring way to do difficulty. I took very little fall damage that time. That's cool. There are a ton of options, but some of them are just better, and that's not true of Dark Souls 2. The fact that there are options that are just better means that effectively there are fewer options, if that makes sense. And this is coming from someone who does enjoy the game. Again, I've played the game a lot. It's not like, I dislike the game and haven't played it very much and am just dogging on it. It's just certain things that I don't prefer over the Souls games. It's not that these things are bad. I just don't like them as much as the other games. I don't know. Maybe I've been playing the game wrong, and once I eventually play out on my channel, that'll be more evident. Uh-oh. I pressed the roll button, but I pressed it wrong. Okay, everything's fine. Stop! I can't believe I just died to Nito a second time. I'm so terrible at this game. Yeah, like I get it, and I understand that people like it more, and I'm not going to say that oh they should go back to how it used to be because it was better. It's just like I prefer what they used to do, and that's fine. Which is why I'm excited for Night Rain because it looks like it's going to be so dramatically different. Or I'm excited to see what Night Rain is rather. um, I think it depends on what kind of robe and wand. Is it like a bathrobe and a the kind of wand that I'm not allowed to say on YouTube, or is it like a what other kinds of wands are there that I can easily allude to that isn't just like a generic witch's wand? Um, I don't know. A lot of people would call me a witch, probably. Fortnite. I mean, it's a roguelite, right? That's what they were saying. That's what the like um summary on the page said. I don't remember. I don't know. I'm excited to see how different it is. Harry Potter. Are you transphobic? Because as long as you're not transphobic, then I think yes, you are a witch. Being transphobic immediately precludes you from being a witch, I think. Am I too close to the big skeletons? I didn't even think about that. I should be more careful. What the? Why did he attack like that? Nito, come on. Uh! You are trans. Okay. Then yes, you are a witch. That said, being trans also doesn't exactly preclude you from being transphobic. um, being transmed is transphobic, so also thinking non-binary people aren't real is transphobic. That sort of thing. Thinking neopronouns are bad is transphobic. So it's not like you can't be a transphobic or yeah, transphobic trans person. It's just less common than being a transphobic cis person. I should get away. Instead of trying to kill the skeletons myself, Nita will do that for me. I mean, it makes sense. I'm trans, so I would imagine a lot of the people who watch me are trans too, right? I think that just kind of makes sense. Hiya. Oh, there you go. I assume most of the people who are watching this stream at this exact second are trans. At least half of the people in chat are. So. Okay. More endurance. First try. So true. Yeah, at least half, exactly. Ugh, I am so much not looking forward to youth. I think, at least when it comes to people who are active in the community and everything, um, the vast majority of people are at least not cishet. Not that you shouldn't be here if you are. I just, it makes sense. CC incel, yeah. The majority of people I know are trans just because I am trans and I put myself in trans spaces and everything. Oh my god, I don't know why I thought that was the charge instead of the run. Ah! Oh my god. I don't know, what is there to understand about neopronouns? Those are the words that they like to represent themselves. Or, well, I say they, but whatever their pronoun is. I like it, and it is pretty uncommon among trans people. But, like, I don't know, it just feels nice. That's kind of... I mean, for some people, there is more to it than that. Like, I know people who have neopronouns that are, like, for instance, like bun, because they... their pronouns are any and optional bun, because of like their identity and everything. So I always end up, even when I say somebody's pronoun, I'll just end up defaulting to they. Oh my god, money. Thank you. Geez, I never know how to like respond to that, but I do genuinely appreciate it a lot. Thank you. Yeah, of course you can decide your pronouns. You don't even need to be... I mean, really common ones are like Faye or Zizor. I missed. I mean, obviously they, them. Its are pretty common. I mean, relatively to other neopronouns at least. But you can just use whatever you want. Bun. Again, that's one that I know. Krista, thank you so much. Neopronouns are cool and valid. You're so right. Thank you. Yeah. I mean, generally, anything somebody says is their pronoun, obviously as long as they're not being facetious, because there are assholes who'll be like, oh, I'm gonna attack a helicopter or whatever, because they're unoriginal and don't know any actual jokes. As long as they're not being facetious, anything that they say is their pronoun is, a pronoun. So, which is super cool, especially if that pronoun is validating and makes somebody comfortable identifying as they are and everything. I've thought about neopronouns, especially having to do with like being Therian and stuff. But I don't know. I don't usually, or I don't think that they fit me as much as I would want them to if I actually started using those pronouns. So I just use she and it. I feel like... oh my goodness. I feel like you're dying in 3 hits in the Duke's Archives. You should probably revise your build a little bit, I mean, I say that as I'm going through here half naked with nothing but a fork, but... oops, that's not what I meant to take off. But, I don't know. I feel like you shouldn't be dying in 3 hits in the Duke's Archives. Yeah, I think it's a really cool level with a lot of cool mechanics. And the difficulty, I think, fits really well. Oh yeah, true, buffed enemies. I didn't think about that. But still, like, I don't know. Yeah, first try, because I wasn't trying. Good point. I never really considered it. Also, about to plow some Pasakas. Anyway, there are a lot of reasons to use neopronouns, but like you also just don't need a reason. But I've also like, when it comes to being Therian, that concept goes further than just animals, right? Like I know a lot of people who, I don't know if the word is Therian, I'm pretty sure it's not. I think there's a different word, but who like identify with like being a robot in some way, right? Or yeah. So I don't know. I've never really considered that parallel, how that has to do with like a similar concept, at least, to being Therian. That's interesting. I think interrogating my own identity and how that relates to how other people describe their identity and like thinking about all that kind of stuff is like, oops, my controller disconnected. This is a bad time. Please. Okay. And thinking about all that is really interesting and fun. I mean, I have to use the plow attack, right? There we go. Nice. And now I gotta backstab this one. Preferably without dying. There we go. The immigrant experience? How do you mean? I mean, there's like the marginalization and bigotry. But beyond that, like, are there any parallels you see? Yeah, a lot of people don't know you can backstab them. I mean, there's not really much of a reason to, admittedly, but you can do it. Oh god. I always forget that the mages can spit poison. It's probably their least used attack. Ah, pardon me. Cool. So far, so good. All the stuff we're learning on stream today. All the weird stuff that's never happened before. Yeah, me personally, my identity is very much shaped around being trans, and I absolutely prefer being a trans woman to being a cis woman. Like, I would never want to be a cis woman just because so much of my identity is informed about my experiences. Um, but that goes for a lot of things. Like, if I were to restart life and I got to choose anything that happened to me, or even just go through life with the knowledge that I had, I think I would want to go through life exactly the same, both to be who I was as a person, or who I am as a person, right? Going through my same experiences, like even the traumas, as much as, you know, the trauma itself sucks, it does inform who I am as a person. Um, but also to meet the people that I met through my life and everything. I don't know, I'm just lucky to know who I know, even if I had to go through some not great things to get there. And it's like, I don't know, I'm fine. Absolutely, my trauma had long-lasting issues, but I'm happy as who I am. Four generations? That's so weird. Huh. I guess bigots will be bigots no matter what. Yeah, the euphoria I've experienced from transitioning would have just never happened as a cis person. Um, there aren't very many cis people that I know who express the experience of gender euphoria because it's just innate to them, right? While gender euphoria is something that an experience that I would never give up. Yeah, personally, I don't think there's a thing about my past that I would change, but if I had the power, there are definitely things about other people's pasts that I would change. Um, if I had the power, obviously, but I don't know. I don't even know if a lot of people would want that. I know of people, or I know people who would definitely want that, but personally, like, because of all the terrible things that well, I was about to minimize my own trauma. Probably shouldn't do that. um, because of all the things that I went through, I still like would have gone through them if I had a choice just to get to where I'm at today. I don't know how many other people will feel like that. Um, yeah, I don't know. I did definitely experience dysphoria, but once I figured out it was dysphoria and started transitioning, it's exclusively been euphoria from then on. There are times where I like feel like I don't look how I want to or whatever, but it's never dysphoria anymore. It's always dysmorphia, which is a really weird change. I just don't really experience dysphoria very often anymore. Sometimes I do with my voice or whatever, um, but I like my voice the way it is, and that usually goes away pretty quick. So whatever, that kind of thing is like, yeah, yeah. I mean, I've been on estrogen for when did I start? 2023. Yeah, so like a year and a half. June 2023. Um, so I'm not like super far into my transition, but I'm far enough to I don't know. I pass most of the time as long as I shave and everything. So, gender euphoria is when you mostly to trans people. I'm sure there are cis people who experience it, but it's when you get euphoria from seeing yourself as the gender that you actually are rather than as the gender that you were told to be. So like when I see myself as a man, I feel awful. But when I see myself as a woman, because I didn't have that experience for a lot of my life, it just feels so I mean euphoric really. Water is wet. The definition of wet is covered in liquid, right? And like I guess you could argue that like the top layer of molecules of water aren't wet, but water is, as long as there is more than one water molecule, the water molecules are covered in water because water is hydrophilic. Yeah, God, euphoria tears, especially after like being so much more emotional after being on hormones. Well, yeah, a single water molecule, but if there's more than one, water isn't inherently wet, but water in the form that we know it is. Oh my God. So my first experience with gender euphoria was I was working at a casino, and I was picking up trash for the night because I was a janitor at the casino, right? And I'm way off of the gaming floor, like super super far from most people in the casino, because I'm over down by the event center, which I fell over, but I hit it. What? Okay, anyway, there wasn't an event that night, but occasionally people would go down to that part of the building, so I'd still have to go check the trash there. So there was almost no one over there. And then a group starts like walking down toward me because there's an entrance over there, and I assume they parked close to it. Um, and obviously, half of them are drunk, over half of them, but half of them are obviously drunk, right? And one of them comes up to me and like they want me to say something into a camera. I don't even remember what it was. They asked me a question and I didn't answer it because obviously I'm working and I don't want to answer whatever question they have for however many people to see, because that's just like a gross thing to do. But they start the guy walks away and he's like, oh, he didn't want to answer. And another one of them was like, that's a dude. And I was just laughing so hard for so long because I thought it was really funny that they thought that I was a girl, but I also like felt euphoria for the first time and didn't understand it as gender euphoria. Um, so yeah, that's a interesting experience with euphoria, but other stuff like that happened. I did get unintentionally gendered correctly while I worked at the casino for a while. I got called vacuum lady or boy or whatever you are. um, I got called ma'am a couple times, and every time it was like, oh my God, I like that. But yeah, that's really what made it click for me, I think. What is anhedonia? I have no idea. I don't think I've heard that before, but I don't know what it is, I think. Yeah, I mean, sometimes I wish I had experienced growing up as a girl, but for me, I don't think that gaining that experience is worth losing every other experience that I've had, you know? I'm not going to get hit that much on the DLC. It's fine. Ah, I see. Um, Sanctuary. Yeah, that sounds pretty awful. I don't know. I live for experiencing happiness. I mean, I'm a hedonist, right? So, um, I don't know. That sounds like my worst nightmare, but I guess I haven't lived with it, so I can't really say anything beyond that. The sanctuary. Yeah, okay. Me when I'm plowing up the sanctuary. I'm gonna get banned off of YouTube one of these days. I'm gonna say something like that. And my channel is gonna be no more. And then it'll all be on my second channel with the Sonic reviews. My second channel actually is kind of gaining traction a little bit. Like, I don't know if I'd say that because I have 230 subscribers or something, which is not a lot. It's awesome that many people have like seen this random channel that has 3 videos about Sonic and are like, okay, I'll subscribe to that. That sounds cool. And that's really nice that people want to hear me specifically talk about Sonic, and I think that's really fun. But like, it's still a small channel, right? But if and when it gets to the point where I can monetize it, I'm not sure that I will, to be honest. That's always pretty awful, not getting gendered the way you want to in person. Um, I think it depends on where you are, but there are ways that you can help with that. Like, obviously, there's stuff like, something like a pronoun pin, which, depending on where you are, could open you up to a lot of transphobia. But if you're in a good place, a safe place to do that kind of thing, most people are going to be respectful of that, right? Yeah. Well, okay. The thing is, right? I uploaded the remaster to bow only video, and right now that's sitting at like 1,200 views or something, which is pretty low, but it's not like abnormal at this point because YouTube just hates me, I guess. That video has 40,000 impressions, full stop, which is very, very low for my channel. Some of my videos have hundreds of thousands of impressions, so it's just like not like recommending my videos for whatever reason. Probably because I just get unlucky with the first few people who see it, which is like whatever. It does suck to not get a ton of views, but it happens. I'm not distraught about it. But then my second channel, a video that I made in like a day, I uploaded it randomly on a Monday, and it has 3,000 views on a channel with 200 subscribers. I mean, I would consider myself introverted. It's just my brain sees interacting online separately from interacting in person. Like, in person, I'm incredibly shy. I will never initiate a conversation. Even online with one-on-one conversations, I have a really, really hard time initiating. Even with people who I know want to talk to me and want me to initiate conversation, I have a really hard time with it. But I don't know. I just like sharing my thoughts, and this is a great way to do that. Yeah, height can really put a damper on being perceived the way you want to be perceived. I don't know. Are you on hormones? When being transphobed upon, that's a great way to put that. Yeah, I don't know. If you like personally know most of the people in your community, then I think a pronoun pen would be, even just like telling people, obviously, but something like a pronoun pen could be nice. But if you don't know the majority of people and it's like a disconnected community, then again, that could open you up to bigotry. But if you're already wearing a full face of makeup, then I don't even know if you would feel like worrying about that. I don't know. Pronoun pin, P-I-N, it's just like a pin you wear on your shirt that has your pronouns on it. Or, something similar. Being unbelievably relatable? Oh, being introverted and it being hard to initiate conversation and stuff. I mean, if you want to learn more about the trans experience, my Discord's there. Most of the people in there are trans, and a lot of what we talk about in there is at least somewhat related to being trans. A lot of identity stuff, just by the fact that a lot of people have non-cishet identities. A lot of neurodivergence as well, which leads to other identities being Therian or whatever. Okay, I'm gonna attempt to not die Territorius. I need to be careful with stamina management. Oh god, my controller almost disconnected. It disconnected! Okay, run. My whole life flashed before my eyes. Oh, okay, that's what I mean by I need to be careful with stamina management. Me when I'm bad at the game that I put over 1,000 hours into. No, Therian, without the E. It has to do with, for me, I imagine that the definition differs slightly between individuals, but for me personally, I just identify with a lot of what you might consider traits, animal traits. So like genuinely, a lot of the noises that I just subconsciously make just sound like animal noises. For me specifically, fox. It's like furry with extra steps. Furry as an identity, as opposed to a community, I suppose. Low battery mode. It's not even a low battery, it's just a bad cable. 4 months for 8 months? Yeah, I mean... I didn't see myself as, like, especially feminine until almost a year on hormones. If not over a year. And even then, like, I'm still noticing changes that are like... what? That did so much damage. I guess he was buffed, and that was probably... Oh my god. God, I completely lost my train of thought because of that. Yeah, okay, I'm still, like, noticing changes that feel more feminine to me. I also started progesterone recently. Well, recently, quote unquote, like 6 months ago, I think. Free premium, yeah. And it's like, I think to a point, a lot of it is neurodivergence, and then applying those traits to like an animal, right? And like seeing that it is similar, and identifying with that, and then maybe subconsciously being more, or more of your behaviors relating to that. But I think a lot of it is also just like, this thing is similar to me, or I'm doing these things and it's similar to this, so I identify with this. Hey, wow, another plow. Sitting at a new lunch table. Personally, I enjoy learning about these things. I hope that's true of you. I don't know. I think cishet people are less likely to explore their identity, and as such, cishet people are less likely to be, Therian and whatever. And then trans people and even queer people in general are more likely to explore their identity as a whole. And that's why a lot of, and especially neurodivergent queer people, are a lot more likely to explore their identity as a whole. And that's why a lot of people who are Therians and whatever are neurodivergent and queer. Come on. Yeah, like, and another thing that relates to being Therian is like, I experienced gender euphoria when I, noticed that, for instance, the fat redistribution is my fat and like body shape is more feminine, right? Um, I get the exact same feeling when I think about having a tail. um, so okay, good. I was worried I wouldn't be able to stagger. Owie. Skill issue. Yeah, having tummy. Really euphoric. Supposed to be guts. I don't know that I would go that far, but might as well be. I don't know. Is Artorias supposed to be an homage to a specific character in Berserk? Is he supposed to be Guts-esque, or is there a different character that only has their non-dominant hand to fight with, or is left-handed with a broken left arm? I need to heal. This isn't gonna work. Okay, I'm fine. Owie. I don't know if that's a safe healing opportunity. Are you kidding me? Okay, well, I guess it was a safe healing opportunity. Speaking of identity, there's also a lot of like plurality, which I didn't see very often until I learned I was plural, and then I started talking about it, and then other people started talking about it. It's like, oh, there are a lot more plural people in general than I thought there were, which is really cool. Golden Age Guts? I had no idea. Well, I mean, I haven't read or watched Berserk, so I guess it makes sense that I wouldn't have known. Surprising amount of the people who are active in my Discord are also plural, which is cool. And I think that's just a product of being neurodivergent and queer. A lot of people who are neurodivergent are, more predisposed to being poly, or not poly, sorry, plural. Also poly, but not what I was talking about. And then plural people, I think it's the other way around. Like, plural people are more likely to be queer, as opposed to queer people are more likely to be plural. Owie. Fold over. There we go. I would be happy to hear a Luna Gladius quote. Alright, Manus. And like my plurality, I was gonna say it's self-induced, but I don't know how true that is. I don't know if you can just choose to be plural. But my plurality, the person who makes my plurality was self-induced, right? So I don't know. Jesus. So I don't know, like, if I wasn't plural, if I would be able to induce that intentionally. Or I can induce that because I am plural or whatever, but that as opposed to, having DID or just having headmates naturally, like split parts of your personality or whatever, like an untapped niche. I'm sure it is, unfortunately. I don't think anyone will be tapping that niche anytime soon. As much as they should. How? Being plural is, for me, it again, it's one of those things where the definition is probably different per person. But for me, being plural means that I have multiple people in my brain, I guess is the best way to describe that. Um, so in my case, it's me who is on my own, even if the other person wasn't there, I would still be plural because there are multiple um, strains of thought who are, in my mind, distinct entities that inform who I am as a person. But then there's also someone who started as a tulpa, if you know what that is. If you don't, basically imagine an imaginary friend who you put a lot more focus and thought into to basically make your brain think that they are more real than they actually are. And a lot of the time they can develop into their own people and have thoughts distinct from yours. So I fall under two definitions of plurality. What the? Why is this guy not here? I don't think I've ever seen that. But it's not like that it's not like I have like DID or whatever. My plurality was somewhat induced by trauma, which is a very common source of plurality because initially Raya's not a tulpa anymore, but initially she started as one because I was like experiencing trauma. In my case, loneliness, like really, really bad, and depression. So YouTube just suck at notifications. That's kind of why I made the notifications channel in the Discord. So if you're not in there and you have a Discord account and you are interested in getting better in notifications, you can get that role. I don't know. I don't know exactly what the experience for me is, but me pre-transition feels like a different person than me post-transition. And I think I kind of sectioned off a lot of what made my personality the way it was before I transitioned. Oh, instability damage. Because a lot of that was very, very bad and led to trauma, and I pushed it out. So, and like I've dealt with that since. It's not like I'm just pushing down those emotions and whatever, but that kind of thing. I mean, it depends. They can be. If you experience them as a distinct entity from yourself and they think differently from how you do, or not even necessarily differently, but if they have distinct thoughts from yours, I think it's worth considering the fact that you might just be plural. And the term insane is very relative. I think to most people I'd be considered insane just because I have autism and ADHD, OCD, and CPTSD and stuff, but also being plural. Yeah. Game jams are fun. You should definitely do a game jam if you've never done one before. It really helps with like a lot of what game dev is. At least it did for me. I think it's good to look into personal identity generally. I think it can be fun, but also it can be extremely revealing and helpful generally. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'd probably consider myself insane too. It's just worth noting that it is definitely relative. Yeah, wombo gumbo. Yeah, and I know it's a song. I think as long as things don't harm you or other people, like parts of your identity, like I consider autism a part of my identity. And as much as it makes certain things more difficult, it's just a part of who I am. So I have stopped like masking and trying to push down things that are caused by autism, you know, like special interests and even like my mannerisms and stuff that are extremely autistic. Like I don't try to hide them at all. ADHD to a point, like I'll take I'll take caffeine. I'll drink like an energy drink or whatever. Have caffeine to mitigate certain symptoms of ADHD, so I can do something like stream, right? I have caffeine every day before I stream because it just makes it easier to focus on streaming. Um, but a lot of who I am, like especially hyperfixations and stuff, are because of ADHD. So it's not like I'd want to not have ADHD. And like with some people, ADHD is purely detrimental. Even if it's not, like it's only partially detrimental and they still want to get rid of it. That's not like, oh, you have to be okay with all parts of your identity. Like, I don't know. I just feel like I would be a different person if I didn't have ADHD and wouldn't like who I was as much. Um, like, yeah, something like that could definitely be considered plurality. Um, and like, for me, I don't often question, or like, for instance, for me, Araya will ask me or help me through emotionally difficult moments in my life, like explain to me that things are going to be okay and take a look at things from a more rational perspective than I can because I'll be emotional. But it's not like she doesn't get emotional too, right? So I don't know. I think whether or not you are plural, I think comes down to more how you identify it rather than what it actually is. Because you can have multiple um, thoughts going on in your brain and not consider yourself plural too. I mean, I know people who have created tulpas who don't consider themselves plural either, because they see their tulpa as a genuinely distinct entity. I mean, yeah, whether or not you want to name them and make them their own person is really up to you. That comes down to what you want going on in your brain. Yeah, you could ask them if they have a name too. Uh, I apparently suck at the Manus fight, even after all this time. I can hitless Manus sometimes. This is not one of those times. That's so unfortunate. I hate it when he does that so close. I don't know whether or not Araya named herself. I think she did. It's weird. I mean, honestly, personally, I think it's better to interrogate it rather than letting it fester. Um, it's not like it will change who you are as a person, right? Um, but it can help you with your identity and understanding why you think the way you do. Um, and like, if you're not comfortable thinking about it at the moment, you can always take a break from it and everything. But overall, generally, I think it's healthier to try to interrogate that. Oops. Owie. Oh, that was scary. Everything's fine. Raisin. I don't think there's anything to be scared about. As much as it can feel like, your identity is changing and everything, or it's going to have an effect that you might not want. Overall, I think either way it is ultimately healthier to not push it down. Also, waking up desk. All right. Calamite time, I guess. Why not, right? Uh, Usually I don't fight Calamite because I don't like streaming for more than 3 hours, but we've only been going an hour and a half today, so might as well. I mean, yeah, that's a good idea, especially if you're having like issues with coming to terms with it and everything. Personally, I don't like the idea of having a psychiatrist. I'm not saying having a psychiatrist is bad or whatever. Just for me personally, um, I don't like the idea of having a psychiatrist because I don't like the idea that I would need somebody else to help me understand my brain because I'm the only person who has as much insight into myself as I do. Um, I'm gonna go pee while this cutscene plays. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting to think about and talk about, and um, ultimately, I don't think there's anything to be scared of. But I guess if you are scared of it, then yeah, having a psychiatrist help you would be ideal. Okay, we're back. I forgot there was another dialogue thing. Okay.
Yes, a true shot was never loosed. That bat will be grounded for a good spell. The rest is in thine hands. I await good tidings. Dragon slaying, knighthood's highest calling.
Okay, I am back. Um, is he peeling a potato? I think he's carving a potato, actually. Oh my god. I should have expected to come back to this, to be honest. I'm glad that my streams are enjoyable. I do my best. Um, I don't know how long that cutscene lasts or how long I was gone after the cutscene, but I hope you thoroughly enjoyed Calamite carving potatoes. I don't think I've ever been called a potato. Unless you're talking about Goff's potato, in which case I agree completely. I don't expect Calamite to take too many tries. I might be able to first try Calamite if I am good at the video game, which I am not. But I don't know. I think a few tries is feasible. Hello, Loot Crate. Welcome. Fighting Calamite on stream for the first time in forever. Calamite used to be my favorite boss in Dark Souls 1 until I learned that I love the Sanctuary Guardian. I don't know if Calamite is my second favorite boss anymore just because I don't fight him that much. You're talking about me. Oh, okay. I almost got tinnitus. I have tinnitus in real life. I don't need it in the game too. I don't know. I don't try to be cute, I guess, but owie. I guess sometimes the things I do intentionally do end up being cute. I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense, but I don't try to be cute. Oh. Tinnitus does suck. Tinnitus is awful. Okay. Effortlessly. Oh my god. Maybe I should have said I'd do it intentionally. Oh my god. That one's fine. Yeah. People who don't have tinnitus are lucky. So far, so good. I think a lot of the people have problems with like Calameet's hitboxes and stuff. And I think a lot of that comes from trying to be aggressive on Calameet when most of the time you just want to roll away instead of rolling inward and everything. Probably shouldn't have done that fourth attack. That was greedy. Oh my god. Yeah, I can't stand silence just because the tinnitus. It's awful. But I also can't stand white noise because it sounds too much like tinnitus. So, like, I can't sleep with a fan. I have to be wearing headphones and listening to a YouTube video or a podcast or something. That was inordinately close. Okay. When I get scared, I start using big words, apparently. Tinnitus? I think both, actually. I think it can be genetic, or at least I think it can be genetic. I don't know how true that is. But most of the time it comes from like loud noises. You can just have things wrong with your ear. But yeah, like listening to loud noises too often, even like improperly cleaning your ears can cause tinnitus. So yeah, brown noise is vastly better than white noise, but I still hate it. It's nice, but it's not like calming. Or I don't even know if nice is the word I would use. It's not terrible, but I don't specifically like it, I guess is a better way to put it. Yeah, mine is pretty strong in both ears. Constantly. Pretty much no matter what. Lemon Ultra, the way you said that, or the fact that you said that for some reason made me think of the sorry about your brother who died, you get 5 big booms. Sorry about your tinnitus, you get 5 big booms. So first try Calameet. Excuse me, hello, controller, please connect. I don't want to fight Gwyn on keyboard. Okay, we're good. Auditory processing disorder also sucks. Mine probably comes from a combination of ADHD and autism. Probably. Probably mostly ADHD, actually. Oh, true. I should have done the lunging attack. Oh well. I can do that with Gwen. Red noise? I know brown noise has like lower pitches. What's red noise? Yeah, a bunch of different spectrums. I know you didn't mean it like that. It's just funny. Gwynathan? Gwynathan? I don't like that. That's the true name of the nameless king. He just didn't tell anyone because he didn't want to be made fun of for it. Okay, what's the damage like? Two-handed 790. Not terrible. We love our 1.2 times motion value multiplier. Red noise is in mathematics. I see. Isn't airplane cabin ambience like a high-pitched humming that you hear from the machinery? I love a good Jim Wolbothy Jonathan sandwich. Next time I go to Jimmy John's, I'm gonna get bread so I can. Okay. Maybe I shouldn't have said it like that on the Pitchfork stream. I'm gonna get some of their extra loaves so that I can make sandwiches at home with their delicious uh, wheat bread, French bread. Oh, the dings. True, I understand that. I'm getting threatened at the Jimmy John's. Okay, time for fake Pigbo. Simulated tinnitus. um, I've always heard like the noise from CRTs. And for the longest time, I didn't know other people didn't hear that. So every time somebody turned on a CRT in any house that I've ever been in, like someone completely opposite side of the house turned on the CRT, I heard it. And I thought that was true of everyone else. So when I was a kid, I wasn't like allowed to play video games, more than a certain amount of time per week, or per day rather. So I'd always get worried that when I was trying to sneak video games, um, oh my god, I tried to parry, but it didn't work. When I tried to play video games when I wasn't supposed to, everyone would hear the CRT. Nope, that was just me. And probably my brothers. Um, yeah, the pitch is, or the noise is so high pitched, um, that like the older you get, the more difficult it is to hear that noise to the point where some people just straight up can't hear it. Um, and the rate at which you are less able to hear high pitched noises is different for everyone, obviously, but yeah, a lot of people just don't hear that noise. They are very lucky. Yeah, it is a pretty painful noise. I just kind of dealt with it because of how often I played video games. um, Obviously, being autistic and also having ADHD made me very predisposed to loving video games, and now video games generally are a special interest. And then Dark Souls is also, which is a video game, is a special interest. Um, and everything, all the kinds of art that I've tried to learn to do, I've learned because of video games. So like music, my biggest inspirations have always been video game tracks or 3D modeling. I've always wanted to learn to do so I could make games or programming for games. Making videos about video games. So very neurotypical, I assure you. I don't usually think that, no, thankfully. But I also just like have IBS regardless of what I eat. Oh my god. Get dodged. I am so good at this game. Oh. Okay. Actually, I haven't had progesterone the last few days, so my hormones have been all over the place, which has led to mood swings, but it's also led to worse IBS, which is just awful. Anyway, great way to end off the stream. I love having mood swings and IBS at the same time. It's wonderful. Um, uh, Verdict on the weapon. It's cool. It takes a long time to get. I hate that it's a DLC weapon because it's probably not great for New Game Plus, but for a new game, if you rush straight to the DLC, it's pretty cool. I don't know. It's fine. There are probably better spears or, thrusting weapons, whatever. Actually, I assume, yeah, weapon type spear. So IBS is irritable bowel syndrome. Yeah, it's hell. That's a much more succinct way to put it. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I love you all. I hope you have a good night. I don't know how to end this.